Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mentoring Channel. In this new session, we are going to continue in the development process or the pending services we need to complete. For example, let's continue with transaction service. This is our HU user story and the task we are need to complete. So let's continue here. Let's put this more bigger. Okay, perfect. Um, we need to create an interface called, let's see, Java interface. So let's call transaction service. So this interface, we are gonna implement here two methods. The call transaction, respond DTO, create transaction request, transaction. We need to import this DTO. Okay, perfect. And of course, we need to create another method here to get the transaction by account ID. So this is a list, and we pass here transaction response DTO, and we call get transaction by account ID, and it's a string with the account ID. Perfect. Let's create our implementation or transaction, a class, and the class we need to call transaction service impl implementation, and we need to implement our transaction service. Let's implement transaction service, and we need to implement the methods we create in the interface. So the two methods here. And of course, we need to inject these uh, this method. So for example, we need to inject here the account repository and also the transaction repository. This is common to implement the safe account and the different group operations. So let's first of all use the service annotation, and annotation here called is LFORS is for logging and log and print different log with this is so useful. And then let's call private final account repository, and of course we need here the transaction repository. Let's import. And you have two options here. Like for example, you can regard or arguments constructor with Lombot, and with that you are complete the injection being of the account repository and transaction repository. Another way is right click and generate the constructor, and you have the same resource. So for keep simple, let's continue with Lombot in this occasion. And we need to create our transaction here. So first of all, we need to put here a notation called transactional. This is a notation for Jakarta, and it's give you, for example, some important DBA keywords like we in the process or a transaction is happening in the database. If the transaction is not completed, this automatically may a rollback and put the database in the behavior that before the transaction going to be. So this transactional notation is important to help in the aspect of the database management. So let's continue and add here optional because we need to find the account ID. So we need to pass here. Yeah, this is all we need at the moment. So we need to pass here the account and this variable from account. Yeah, you can put from account optional, it's no problem. And we account repository, we have the method or yeah, the method find by ID, and we find the ID of this account. And we have a string value of to convert or pass the UI from a string and get to the DTO from account DTO. Perfect. And then we need, for example, this request DTO is coming from the transaction request. So when we put this that here, we get the from account ID from the transaction request DTO. And then of course we need to put another optional here for the account we are gonna to we need to find to create the transaction, the account of the beneficiary. So it's completed, and then we need to implement a validation here. And this validation is, for example, if the from account is different or is not present to the account or the account original. So we have a legal station like uh, one or both account not found. In this case, if the account is not present, we have a validation here or a message here. Of course, we can use empty. It's a suggestion. It's more clear, of course, and have all code more readable and maintainable a long time. So let's continue. And of course, we need to continue with the this variable. We need to add the account from account to get the account and of course the two account to send the account. And in this aspect we need to check is the funds we are trying to send to another account is available, available in the account we are trying to get these funds. And let's come in here and make a validation here like if the account or from account get balance more than the request amount, we have a legal station like the balance you have in your current account is not insufficient fund. You don't have enough funds. Sorry, you don't have enough funds to send the money you try to send to the or the to account or the other beneficiary. And then we need to create the transaction record here. Create the transaction. So let's create this transaction here, and we need to call transaction class. We need to import this class, this entity. And here with the builder, for example, we can use builder here because it's helpful to pass a lot of parameters. And yeah, you have from account to account to account, amount, request DTO, get the amount. And we have another thing, like for example, you are gonna to set the status in progress and transfer type. Yeah, the transfer type we can put here like in this order. Yeah, the transfer type and of course the date this transaction is created, and of course the bill. And then we need to save our transaction. So save the transaction here, transaction repository, and save the transaction. Then we can, for example, prepare the response. We need to prepare the response here. Um, because we say the transaction, we need to return some to the front end. So the return is the transaction response DTO, and we need to use the builder method again here. Return, for example, we can use here like in return. Sorry, it's not return. It's like transaction respond DTO. Yeah, equal to transaction respond there. Yeah, and then for example we have error here because we need to pass to a string here, and of course we need to create date and get transactions, but it's not create date, it's create at. So it's create at we have, and create at, and get create at is in capital letter. Yeah, perfect. In capital letter. Perfect. And then we have our return response. Perfect. So let's continue or complete create transaction is completer. So we can reduce the space here. And you see it's completer all create transaction. So matter. Okay, let's continue with the get transaction by account ID. This, yeah, we can, yeah, we need this get transaction by account ID to have a list of transaction a user has implementing. So let's use the UI here, the UI, and pass the account UI ID, and of course the UI from a string account. But here, for example, this is uh, for example, the UI implement a user reusable, and it's a unique ID that is not repeatable, so it's unique. Never in the life you can repeat a UID, so it's good to use. So let's continue, and we need to also pass a list here of transactions, and with the transaction repository find the account ID. But here we have a error because it's not just we need to find the account ID. It just does the account, yeah, find by account ID. And here we need to pass the string value. For example, here we need to pass the string value of and pass the account ID, and it's done. And then, for example, we need to use a string here, like return the string API of Java 8 we need to use, like transactions. In this case, we can pass all these parameters or all these, yeah, parameters. But for this time, we can create a method called transaction, called to transaction respond DTO. And for example, let's show you here. For example, we use the string API of Java 8, and then the map, and we need to pass here this. Uh, this is this is the method we are going to create here. Transaction response DTO, and we are gonna to collect to yeah and pass a list. But we need to create this method to transaction response. Yeah, here. In here we pass the DTO transaction response DTO, and here we can return, for example, all the values that have our transaction response. Perfect. And then you have a more beautiful and readable code in your get transaction by account method. Of course, we can use another tools like model mapper or map structure, but if you in the next session, I'm gonna to create a mapper of directory here and refactor some combo. This is for more advanced topic more later. No, not now. Now we are going to keep more simple and easy for beginner friendly people in this stuff. Okay, so with this done, we can pass to the next step. So let's let's continue in a new session. So in the next session, I'm gonna to create what happened here. The builder transaction. Let's see what happened here. What comment? We have transaction. We don't need this new here. And the create date is create add. Sorry. Perfect. Create add. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, in the next session, I'm gonna to create the user details server implementation and the job for uh, synchronous process and get a job, a real job in the process of move transaction and retransaction in the database. So thank you for watching this new video on my Mentor channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you so much.